Today I will explain my second tool to do arbitration with cryptocurrencies. The first tool that explains here in this channel is to arbitrate in a triangular way in the same exchange using 3 currency crosses. For this case, which is parallel arbitration, it is using 2 exchanges, the same currency cross. You look for one, buy cheap and sell it at a higher price. The configuration for this tool is simple, and we are going to start with the part of this module that is the exchange. Choose to exchange to be able to do arbitrage. With this tool you can get the database of more than 100 exchange. Here we see it. I have it configured with Binance and with KuCoin. From each exchange what I need is and the commission percentage they charge at each time of operation. And an additional data that I find interesting to handle is the management of the price of the BIP and the AXI. I can send a limited order to the nearest purchase price. I can send a purchase order to the nearest purchase price. It forms a sales order, but I can exchange them. I can send a purchase order at the nearest selling price and vice versa. That way, when I send the order, the safest thing is to enter the system immediately and the chances of having open operations will decrease. That's why these buttons are here. Suppose I remove the exchange of the BLS at this moment. Here I have an opportunity with the PIVX. But now we're going to see how all this works. This is the panel to configure what the exchange is. Here, as we saw now, this is the button to send the operations. When I click on this button, it sends me the purchase operation in one exchange and the sales operation in the other. You can exchange, obviously, from the opportunities that you have at the moment. This tool is semi-automatic. It is not automatic. It brings me and informs me at what time there are arbitration signals, and I have to click here on this button. In this panel appears the number of orders that the tool is processing to send, which is this part that is here, and when you have sent it, it appears here. The two numbers have to be equal at the time when the number of processed orders are equal to the number of orders sent to the chain, then it appears in this color. At the bottom I have the accumulation of the utility obtained with the commission discount and obviously the net result. The commission is calculated according to these percentages that we have here. And to facilitate, or at least for me to facilitate, everything is converted to USDT. It does not matter if you are doing arbitration with Bicom. With Ethereum it converts it to USDT. For me it is much easier. Here in this part it says the number of operations carried out today. It is not yet accumulated here, and in this part it gives an alert when BNBs, in this case by Binance and KCS by KuCoin, are running out. You have to remember that if I have BNB in Binance, the commission is cheaper, and in the same way in KuCoin, and I have them with a top of 10 USDT when the price. The equivalent price, the equivalent amount of each token or each cryptocurrency, BNB or KCS, is lowered to the equivalent of $10. Then a warning appears here that this is the red shadow. We can make an example. Let's say that my threshold is not 10 but 50, so possibly here already. It means that I have less than $50 with equivalences in each currency. In this box here, we are going to see the existing opportunities. It shows me the currency crossing on the left side, and on the right side the amount of coins that I am earning with this arbitral opportunity. Let's see an example. Because I remember that when I clicked here on this button an opportunity appeared, and indeed if I click on this button an opportunity with PYBX appears. I will have a utility of this amount of BTC in case I click on this button. We leave this for later, we are not going to click yet. Here we see two green buttons. As this file works with other files, the green buttons mean that they are connected to the other files and that obviously the data is coming to me in real time. If at any time one of these two buttons has another color, a magenta color, it is because the best thing is that I have to close the files and reopen them, or some have been closed. In the cryptocurrency menu, we register the cryptocurrencies that we want to do arbitration. In the menu here we are going to place the cryptocurrencies crosses that we want to do arbitration. In this case I have this one. The investment is equivalent to the amount of USDT that I want to invest with the opportunities that come out to arbitrate. I have everything with USDT equivalents, it does not matter, as in this case. That has to do with Bitcoin. It all turns into its equivalent in Bitcoin or Ethereum starting from USDT. For me it is much easier than suddenly looking for the quantities that I have to operate for each currency. So here I place the amount of investment that I want for the opportunity that I have to arbitrate. At this moment, it is the minimum. Here where I said arbitrage, it is the minimum profitability that I want to have for each arbitrage opportunity. Obviously, I can modify it with this scale that we see here. The scale goes from 0.15% to 2%. In this, where it says trading rule, is that each cryptocurrency has its minimum operating. If you have not noticed, some receive decimals, others whole numbers. In the case that all are already diligence, it appears with information. In the case that I put a currency cross and the information of the minimum amount to operate does not exist, then a sign like this will appear, missing information. I go to the page of, in this case, of Vena, which is much easier for me. There it appears what is the minimum amount, the diligence, and I can continue operating. Here in this quadrant we see the base crypto and the crypto with which we are liquidating. Here we see the two cryptos and their equivalent to the $100 that I gave you here. An example, at the current price $100 equals 407 AAP. If I change this, for example, to 50, it will modify me, it does not matter, 150. And that way I already know the amount of cryptos that I have to make the purchase and the sale. Here we have the balance of each crypto, for example, Binance. I have 500, it appears in red because it tells me that I have less than the minimum amount that I am going to operate because I placed 150. But if I lower it to 100, 400 appears in green, which means that I can make a sale in Binance because I have the amount to be able to sell in this arbitration opportunity. So it brings me the hard balance and the USDT balance for Binance and in this case for KuCoin. It tells me the orders sent and the orders in both process orders and the orders sent, and the net utility that I have obtained from this currency crossing appears from the beginning. It is not by date and not from the beginning and the opportunities that I have had to arbitrate. This is how these two boxes work. If we see here with PYBX, PYBX has done fewer operations. I have a lower investment top with $20. I obviously have the balance of how much PYBX is needed to be able to operate at an equivalence of $20. I bring it here, and for this case I have carried out 5 operations and this has been the utility. In this way, this is the menu. It is quite simple, it is not complicated, and it will bring those opportunities to do arbitrage.